Hey there, YouTube community. I'm about to show you something that I've accomplished with a goal of mine. Today I went to Walmart and I bought me the Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection. I kind of figured since I have physical copies of several of these games, I kind of thought, why not? I might as well have a physical copy of this. If I can get my hands on a Nintendo Switch version of Shredder's Revenge, I'll pick that one up too if I have the money at some point. But anyway, the Cowabunga collection, yeah, you got games online, local play, Turtles Lair. I generally don't do this yet, but but I am gonna buy Marvel Midnight Suns on day one, and I also plan on buying Gotham Knights on day one. But I'm gonna be getting digital releases of those, so I'll probably be showing those off the very week as well. If it's a game or a fandom I'm really a big fan of in regards to a video game series, a comic book, cartoon / video game series, I'll be reviewing those games when they first come out too. Even though everybody else is going to, but hey, that's what makes it cool, right? It tells you how much of a popular trend the new stuff usually is when it comes out, but anyway, check out the Turtles Lair first. According to the other, man, literally kind of looks like you're going inside the 1987 cartoon Turtles Lair. That looks magnificent. Yeah, the Ninja Turtles, yeah, I really did like them a lot when I was a toddler and when I was a kid, especially when I was a really younger kid, 5 years old, 6 years old. Yeah, and then as I approached my 7th birthday, I got hooked on the Power Rangers. Now I can't even decide between the two. It's hard for me to choose between the Ninja Turtles or the Rangers. I think they're both equally good in their own ways. But anyway, yeah, you got the games and boxes and manuals. Like I said, I've got physical copies of these games. I don't have their boxes, however. And I know I've had several versions over the years of Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. I think I've had at least 2 cartridges of those. I ended up, I had one. I don't know whatever happened to it when I was a kid. Then I ended up rebuying it at the secondhand gaming store years ago, and I even still have it now. Fall of the Foot Clan, that's a really good game on the Game Boy, even though it's a bit mediocre. Hey, it actually shows the boxes to each of these. Japanese version of the original game, and then there's 2 of the arcade game. In many ways, I even think, when it comes to the NES version of the arcade game, if you're able to, break hacking and all that, like with a Game Genie Boy, in a lot of ways, I think it's kind of better in some aspects of it compared to the original arcade version. This is incredible, though. They even give you the Japanese packaging, too. And there's a total of 38 pages. I don't know if I'm going to have time to look through all those. Tournament Fighters. Boy, that's the Genesis version, isn't it? It was a whole lot better on the Super Nintendo, though. The Genesis version was a big failure compared to the Super Nintendo version, but luckily, if the Super Nintendo version of it ain't on here, luckily enough, I've got it on the emulator, so I guess it doesn't matter at the end of the day. This is still a pretty cool collection to have if you're a big Turtle fan or a fan of Ninja Turtles and everything geeky in general, especially video games. This is a good buy, I think. It was only like $40 too, It's cool that we finally got like a collection, and maybe I may just have time to scroll through all 38 covers. Radical Rescue. The other 2 games on the Game Boy of the Ninja Turtles, though, I'm not really, other than Fall of the Foot Clan, the other ones are fun and they have more of a story, but they're a little bit more on the difficult side. A lot of those Game Boy games were hard, and it's like, man, the fact that you had to play with only 2 buttons like it was an NES controller, only you had like a little screen, it's like, man, that made things very difficult. The Turtles in Time Super Nintendo cover, yep, I remember I got that years ago, like Easter of '94 in my Easter basket, and I still have that game to this day. But I don't have it on me. My brother has it, but I've got my versions of the first two NES games on me though. Probably have to do a video at some point and probably show each of these physical copies I have with me. Even some of the '03 games, those are obviously not included in this set, but the first game of the 2003 series, as well as 2 Battle Nexus, those actually were pretty incredible as well, even though they kind of got super hard there a little bit into the middle of the game. Yeah, it's incredible though. Also, they do have the Super Nintendo version of Tournament Fighters. I don't think I ever heard of this Ninja Turtle game. Hyperstone Heist, which is basically the Genesis version of Turtles in Time. Return of the Shredder, that's the Hyperstone Heist, but the Japanese version. Alright. Want to make sure that it's still recording. Alright. Game manuals, oh man. I don't know why I went further. Should have been paying more attention. It said go back, not forward, but sometimes, yeah, even like going all the way back, even if you hit forward, it'll go back for you, like, it'll redirect you to it. I've been playing video games most of my life, I know how this stuff works. You got comic books, too? It's cool how I already have, like, access to some of these. I've never read any of these original Mirage comics, but I hear they were pretty cool, though. I've read some of those, though. In fact, I still have a few issues. If I lived closer to a comic book store, I'd probably buy and read comic books more often than I do, but more I can't really go to them that regularly. Usually when I buy a comic book series, I usually buy graphic novels that consist of a compilation of comic book stories, like of Batman or of a Batman villain and stuff. You know, I may have to, like, do a comic book collection review video. Guess those are all the comic book and animated shows. And just their covers. I don't think you can, yeah, just as I thought, I didn't think, it just pictures, like, screen caps of the episodes. I didn't think they'd actually give them to us. Yeah, if that were the case, it probably would cost more money. Speaking of which, I actually hear there's like an exclusive, like, special edition of this game that costs like $150. That being said, if you have that version, you probably maybe get a few free episodes on there along with the games and stuff. That'd be a pretty cool thing to have, but it's too much money. It's out of my budget line. Alright, well anyway, let's just check out some of the games here. The Turtles in Time. Tournament Fighters. I can't decide. Well, you know what? I actually do hear, according to some reviews, that you could actually do a whole bunch of cool stuff with these games, like enhance them and all that, so maybe I'll play the original, here we go. Alright, screen filter, check. For some reason, I was thinking this came with like some cheats or something that you could like do with the game. I don't know if mine came with that or not, but I may have to figure it out later. I really like that. I really like that background like layout thing that like shows you what the game is like. And I mean, well, not what the game is like. I mean, just the picture of the turtles is what I was gonna like get at. Kind of looks a little bit like you're playing one of those handheld games from the early '90s of the Ninja Turtles. It's pretty amazing. I'm gonna have to figure out how to like do that thing with the cheat codes if I can somehow find it. It's just too bad when I paused on the pause menu, it didn't like give me the option to do that. Like I may have to just. I didn't realize it was kind of complex compared to just simply. Enhancements. Alright, strategy guide. Oh. Still trying to see here if I can figure out how to activate those cheat codes. I know you can like do that with the game and all that, but for some reason I'm not finding the option anywhere. Radical rescue. Oh. Options, credits, rumble. You can change the language. Yeah, I'm still trying to. Yeah, but even if I can, I mean. Search. anyway, yeah, we don't really have to. Oh wow, I think set starting level. Oh wow, check that out. I think I just figured it out. Oh yeah, right here. Extra lives. Oh yeah, check that out. Yeah, it's like cheats and you don't even have to like really do anything that complex to hack the game, unlike a regular emulator or even game genies and stuff, which are short term usually. I don't know what. I prefer this one over the regular one anyway, so since I couldn't get the hacks to really work. Yeah, like I said, I really do like the cool backgrounds for these games. Makes it look like you're playing an NES game on one of those like little handheld things from. I actually do remember when I was a kid. I remember I had like one of those like Scholastic like sound books. Like you press those like buttons like whenever you're reading the story. Whenever like the button would appear, it would like make a sound effect. You know, almost like you were like kind of reliving the TV show. And yeah, I can't remember much of what happened in the story or any of that, but it had like the sounds of like the Technodromes, the Mauser robots, just all that. Even the turtles in action, and it featured it was a button that had Raphael with his size on it, and I don't know whatever happened to that book either. I think I lost it in the move or something. I moved around quite a bit as a kid. Me and my brother both did. And yeah, I had that. I even had like another one of Batman the Animated Series that had the "If you're so smart, why aren't you rich?" Click on Daniel Mockridge gasping and it like do like a sound effect. I had used to read that one all the time, even compared to the Turtle one. Yeah, I hope Paramount's still gonna out that rumor about the new Turtle movie that Paramount is in the possible works of. I hope that gets in production and that it's released probably within the next few years. That would be the bomb if that were to happen. Also, after Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, in the late '90s, like after the last episode aired, in like December of '98, it took like 4.5 years for the Ninja Turtles to make a big comeback with the '03 series. Oh yeah, that noise April makes. Pretty amazing how I was able to use the cheats on here. Oh boy, that's amazing. Say your prayers, Toils. That's what he says on the arcade version. Oh man, check that out. Thanks to God mode, I took him out in one blow. like I said, even when it comes to this NES version of the arcade game, like I said, in some aspects it's actually better than the original version. The original version was a little too short. Didn't really have as much detail or any of that. Yeah, I can't get hurt. The Foot Clan fears the turtles. I don't even need to get the pizza because I can't get hurt. I can't take damage. They no longer have the Pizza Hut logo on there, boy. Yeah, because back in like 1990, when you buy this, it would usually come with a coupon inside the box for like a free deep dish pizza or something. Well, not deep dish, but a personal pan pizza. Like you get like a very you get it very cheap, with the coupon that came with the game. Therefore, they posted the Pizza Hut ads throughout like certain parts and sections of the game on the NES version of this. But when it comes to the Ninja Turtles, any kind of pizza will do. Even Home Run In, I would think. I'm not really too big on Home Run In, but that's amazing right there. Anyway, I'm going to check out more of this collection. I don't know if I have time to run through exactly every the Manhattan Project. That's a really good one, but I don't think I'll try it out yet. It's the Genesis version of Tournament Fighters, the not as good version. Fall of the Foot Clan. Arcade version of Turtles in Time. And maybe I'll play the Turtles in Time arcade version next. Okay. Select your turtle. I guess I'll pick old Donnie this time. Yeah. The song they did when they had that like band, called Out of Our Shells tour that came out like around the time the original movie did. Like in 1989, 1990, it was all about the Ninja Turtles. Kind of seemed to me like, the Ninja Turtles stayed pretty popular, and then around like 93, 94, like people were like already getting into the Power Rangers. That kind of made people a little bit not have as much interest for the Ninja Turtles for a while. Because it seems like even though we had life better in the 90s, we just took it all for granted there in like the mid 90s up until the generation ended. Then in the 2000s, George Bush became our president, and we kind of realized that, I think, when it came to us in the 90s, like being the way we were, that we didn't realize we couldn't have had it any other way at the time. I mean, for real. Just whatever was trending in the 90s, like, be it whatever time. And it seems like, from where the Ninja Turtles weren't as much of a trend after, like, 93, 94, other than the fact that I still had passion for them, and so did my brother. It's like, they didn't really make any huge turtle things, other than the next mutation. It's almost like they tried to bring it back, but it just didn't succeed very much. Despite the fact that Fox did it, and Saban Entertainment, and it was like a part of the Power Rangers. I mean, even the Next Mutation Rangers made a guest appearance on that episode of Power Rangers in Space. A pretty good episode, I thought. It's also amazing because the Ninja Turtles like claim they know the Power Rangers, but they didn't know they were for real and all that. I guess that part kind of seemed a little peculiar, I guess, what some people would suggest, but it was still at least cool to know that we at least got a Ninja Turtle Power Ranger crossover, even like way more than we would have expected it even prior to the Mighty Morphin Ninja Turtle crossover comic books. I've never even read them, but I actually do hear that one of the Power Ranger Ninja Turtle comics is that Rita and Lord Zed, I think, make Shredder their Green Ranger. Shredder turning into the Green Ranger does sound pretty impressive. Pretty amazing in the 1987 cartoon. Baxter Stockman, very much like in the Nickelodeon version. I mean, he started out as a human doctor and all that who was working for Shredder, and he was always letting him down and everything, and he failed even more times than Rocksteady and Bebop. Shredder and Krang have him put in this thing, and they were really going to kill him off, but it turned out a fly flew in there, probably influenced off that Fly movie with Vincent Price, even the Jeff Goldblum version. After all, I mean, this was probably back when people still kind of had passion for the movie, so they probably used that as inspiration for that. And Baxter turns into a fly. That made him more of an interesting character, though, kind of like Harvey Dent transforming into Two-Face. It's like when Harvey Dent's that district attorney and he's got that other half of him tamed for the most part. It's like, yeah. They just seem like they're just more dull and normal character rather than the super villain or even hero if they decide to use that power for good, or even both like Two-Face would in terms of letting the coin decide. Alley Cat Blues didn't have the graffiti on the Super Nintendo version, but it does in the arcade. Because there are differences, even some differences that are relatively drastic between the arcade versions and the Nintendo Genesis versions of these games. It's also pretty good to know that it's like that too, because a lot of times when you port a game, you have to kind of make it your own to some degree. this is still available later. I'll definitely have to probably get this on this collection digitally on the Xbox. Cool off, sucker. Yeah, the dialogue in these arcade versions are a little bit more clear compared to the Super Nintendo, but Super Nintendo's what most of us have memories of, since we had kind of limitations to the arcade version of this, or at least I did. But I played the actual arcade version of this years ago. I lived up in Chicago area. There's this place similar to Chuck E. Cheese called Enchanted Castle, and they had this arcade version, and boy, I played it, I put in my tokens, but then I'd get game over and I was out of tokens. Boy, it just kind of annoyed me a little bit that I couldn't complete the game or get more tokens. Eh. Just too bad. Oh man, I should have jumped. But here's what I was gonna say though. It's too bad I couldn't activate these cheat codes for like the, like that first game, like the one on the regular Nintendo. I couldn't use those for like those. I can only use them for like the arcade and like the Super Nintendo versions. Kind of a little disappointed because I couldn't really seem to get those options for those like older games for some reason. But maybe I'll figure it out later. I don't want to do it in the video. Look how many more of them come at you. Yeah, those killer pizzas, yeah. They were from the 1987 cartoon for sure. April O'Neil put one of those like microwavable pizzas, or microwavable, actually Irma did. Yeah, because April had Irma over at her apartment for lunch. Well, actually, it was their apartment. They both share it. And yeah, they were gonna make the pizza, and then out from the microwave comes the killer pizza. Definitely a scam that Shredder and Krang ended up pulling off. Yeah, and seeing as the fact that Eddie on Ed, Edd and Eddy can't really do scams, it's like Shredder and Krang were doing them, yet at the same time making people more convinced. Pizza power! Yeah, you go, Donatello. Yeah. Oh boy, forgot the sunscreen. Oh man, pizza time. Yeah, gotta grab those pizzas anyway. Oh, yeah, now that I'm a diabetic, I can't have pizza as often, but when I do eat pizza, I usually get like vegetables and stuff on it opposed to pepperonis, sausages, chicken. I'll even admit, now that I'm an adult, I'm a little bit more inclined to eat some vegetables now. I can even tolerate a little bit of green beans too. And I tell you, as a kid, I hated green vegetables, even though my dad always made me eat them. Yeah, and then I became an adult, and even compared to when you know, compared to when I started eating unhealthier in the summertime, even like later, like when I was 10 and a half, and I started having weight problems as a kid finally, it's like, I destroy my appetite even more as an adult, and where I don't even really have a true, genuine liking for food, or at least not at the time being, but I'm hoping I'll probably change that, especially me being a diabetic is kind of a start to a whole new road down to how I'm going to diet in the future, because I plan on maybe possibly, going for some walks, eating some better foods and dieting, and maybe even to keep a lot of my extra baggage on, I might possibly see if I can invest on maybe getting me a set of curls, doing me maybe about 10 to 30 reps a day with them. That'd be pretty cool. My nose! Sorry, foot soldiers, we already have a second Robin Hood, and it's Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow. He beat you to the punch, so afraid you guys have to leave. Really forgot the sunscreen. Oh boy. I am just so thankful that I have this collection, though. Yeah, like hours of Cowabunga classic games. you can kick shell and for hours and just never get tired. I feel seasick. Toka and Raz are like in Secret of the Ooze. In my opinion, that's the best Ninja Turtle movie. I know a lot, if not, I may be in the minority for that, because I think the majority prefer the original 1991, which I too thought was good, but the fact that Secret of the Ooze had more humor and was a little bit more on the kid-friendly side, and was a little bit more goofy too, I think that's what made it so great. It even like kind of helped Batman Forever get into play as well as The Mask. Because I don't even think Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, The Mask, I don't think those would even been as bright as they were for 90s entertainment had they not made Secret of the Ooze that way. Oh boy. Oh man, yeah. Thanks to God mode, I can take the bosses out in one blow. Knight Riders, yeah, 2020 AD. It's too bad we don't have any actual Neon Knight Riders, but instead, realistically, we got COVID. The people had to wear masks when they went out in public, boy. Not the future we dreamt of or predicted, that's for sure. Yeah, but even in like the 1950s, they said that we were going to have flying cars and all that stuff in the 80s, and we didn't, so... Pretty amazing on like how we predict it and we're like wrong most of the time. My goodness, stop hitting me. Stop making that noise, future robot. Oh man, I didn't mean to hit the pause button. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Super Krang. And it's not letting me take out Krang in one blow, which more or less is not surprising. Obviously not Pat Fraley's voice on the arcade version. If the angle is off, I apologize. Just a little tired to make a better tripod at the moment. I'm too cold. Oh yeah, he went down a lot faster that time. Now back to the Technodrome in 1991. Yeah, because the arcade version of this game came out in 91. The Super Nintendo version came out in 92. Oh, I didn't get it until 94. Turtle Soup, my favorite. I will go on ahead and confess that the Shredder is my favorite character in the show. It's like one of the best like super villains out there too, I think. Well, anyway, now that I've completed this, I guess I'm a little out of time for right now, but I'll do some more gaming vlogs and stuff later in the future. Until then, I'm out.